Hi, everyone, and welcome to the next episode in my Christmas series. I have a link to the playlist in my description box below if you missed any of the previous videos. If you love gnomes, you are in for a treat because we're going to create 7 easy Christmas gnome crafts. I hope you find tons of inspiration and enjoy today's video. For this project, we're going to be using one of these wood gnomes from Walmart. They're $1.48 a piece. I'm going to paint the beard with white chalk paint, including those outside edges. His nose, I'm going to use a muted khaki color, and his hat I will be painting with crimson red chalk paint. After that dries, I'm going to take one of Dollar Tree's round sponge applicators, dip that into my white chalk paint, and kind of dab some of that excess off so I can create the perfect circles on his stocking cap. Then I'm going to paint his shoes black, and once that dries, I'm going to take a white paint marker. Now I found this one at Dollar General, and I'm going to create some highlights for his shoes. Then using 2 of Dollar Tree's Christmas tree wood ornaments, I'm going to give those 2 coats of antique green chalk paint. You can find this at Hobby Lobby. And I'm going to paint the stars white and the trunks in a brown acrylic paint and allow those to dry. Then I could take my paint marker and create tiny little dots all over each one of these trees. Then we're going to set that to the side for a moment, and we're going to use one of Dollar Tree's chalkboard signs. Now, I originally wanted to use the back of this and just remove the tag, but I could not get all of that excess glue off, so I decided to go ahead and just paint the front with a coat of black chalk paint. Then I'm going to use this stencil that I've previously used. This came from Hobby Lobby in a pack of 2 when they had their sale. And I'm going to tape that in place and then use a fine tip marker to go around the outlines and then fill in the rest with my white paint pen. I did have to allow it to dry and then go over it a couple of times to get everything filled in. I let it completely dry before I even removed the stencil. So once we have that removed, I'm just going to take that paint pen again and create stitching around the outside of the sign to create a really beautiful border. Then we can add our hanger back on. Now, if you didn't have to paint yours, you're able to get the glue and stuff off the back. You wouldn't even have to remove your hanger, but since I had to paint mine, I had to remove it. Then we're going to glue our gnome right to the center at the bottom and hot glue a tree on each side. And this is an absolutely adorable sign. For this project, we're using one of Dollar Tree's shadow boxes. We're going to peel the backing off and then remove the hanger as well as all of the stuff on the inside. Now the lettering is on the back side of the glass. I could not find my scraper with the handle, so I'm just using a razor blade, so be super careful and just take your time and all of that lettering will come off. Then I'm going to clean all that debris up, and because the frame itself is super shiny, I'm going to take a fine grit sandpaper and just go over that so that my paint will adhere better to it. Then I'm going to clean that debris off and use some painter's tape to cover up all of the glass so that when I paint it, I'll be able to get to those inside seams with my black chalk paint. So I'm going to give that one coat and allow it to dry, and then I can remove all of my painter's tape. And I'm going to use the picture insert as a guide to cut down a piece of scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby. And I'm using these really pretty gnome stickers from Dollar General. Now make sure you have it exactly where you want it because they are super sticky and you cannot peel them up once you get them stuck to your paper. Then we're going to add a little bit of Dollar Tree's faux snow to the inside of the frame and kind of push that down towards the bottom. Then we can take our picture and reinsert this as well as the backing. And then because they had applied that outside cover with some double-sided sticky tape, I was able to reapply that to make sure none of that faux snow would come out. Don't put those stickers aside just yet. We're going to take one of those wood ornaments from Dollar Tree, paint both sides with white chalk paint, and then give it a distressed look with our antique wax and dry brushing all of the outside edges on both sides. Then you can add your twine hanger to the top and just double knot the ends and add some of those cute gnome stickers on one or both sides. And how precious is this? You can make so many beautiful ornaments for very little money. I am using one of Dollar Tree's fall signs. Now, I originally wanted to keep that buffalo print on the back, but when I removed that centerpiece, it tore the paper. So I'm going to use some scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby. When you catch them on sale, you can get these books for like $5, and they have tons of beautiful scrapbook paper in there. I chose this pattern, and I'm just going to hold it up since it has the lines and just go based off of those lines to cut everything down so it will fit on the inside of my frame. I'm going to use just a regular glue stick, and then I'm using these cute gnome ornaments from Dollar Tree. Have you guys seen these? They are absolutely precious. I'm going to give mine a stain with the antique wax and then just kind of blending that in and lightening it up a little bit with a dry paper towel. And then I'm going to take some tiny beads and flip this over. I'm going to add 2 beads to the bottom and then 1 at the top, but you kind of want to make sure that you're not able to see it between those cutouts from the front. Then I'm going to add some of that antique wax around the beads just in case you can see the sides. This is so that it will sit up off of the frame and give it more of a 3D look. So I'm just going to hot glue that in place. And we're going to add a couple of Dollar Tree's green bottle brush trees, one on each side. And I'm also going to use a piece of Dollar Tree's garland. I just cut that down, and then I'm going to trim mine up a little bit because it's kind of long. I'm going to hot glue that right to the center at the top of the sign. And I'm also using one of Dollar Tree's holly bouquets. I'm going to use some of the leaves and the red berries off of that so I can kind of layer the greenery together and add the berries in the center. Now I wanted to add a couple of small tiny pine cones, but I didn't have any. I had some smaller ones, so I just clipped the top portion of those off to create my own small tiny pine cones and added 1 on each side. I think this is so cute, but I'd love to know what you guys think. Today's video is a collaboration with my friend Mia at Make It With Mia. She is very talented and has a lot of beautiful budget-friendly projects in her videos. I will have a link to her video in my description box. I can't wait to watch and see what she made today. If you're new to my channel and you're enjoying today's video, I would love for you to click the subscribe button and notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. And if you'd like to visit me on my other social media accounts, all those links are in my description box below. We're going to use another one of those wood gnomes from Walmart, painting the beard white and his nose in a muted khaki color. For his shoes, again, we're going to paint those black, and his stocking cap is going to be that beautiful antique green. We're going to give him a couple of highlights on his shoes, and to decorate his stocking cap, I'm using Dollar Tree's snowflake stickers. I'm going to add a few of these, and then I decided to cut one sort of in half and add that to the top just to kind of give it a little extra cuteness. We're going to use one of Dollar Tree's wood ornament signs and paint it with the crimson red chalk paint. For the top part of the ornament, I'm going to use a sterling silver metallic paint. That takes 2 coats, and I'm also going to paint a couple of lines to give it some highlights with that sterling silver. That again took 2 coats. Now Dollar Tree has these DIY words for the fall that are super cute. So I'm going to take my miter shears and cut the fall portion off and then sand the bottom of that. So all we're left with is the welcome word. And then there will be a line at the bottom. So I'm going to paint the letters themselves in black paint and then the line itself in the crimson paint, so it'll blend in better with our sign. So that footage was a little blurry and I cut that out, but you'll see that finished piece in a minute when we add it to our ornament sign. We're going to reattach a hanger at the top, add our gnome right to the center, and then we can put our welcome word right at the top. And see where I painted that red, it kind of blends in with our sign so you don't see that line as much. We'll secure those down with some hot glue, and I love this sign. This is so cute. Grab some fabric of your choice. Dollar Tree sells these rolls that are 20 by 21 inches for $1.25, or in their plus section, you can get a pack of 5 for $5, and these are 18 inches by 21 inches. I picked out this pattern. I'm going to cut that down in half and then fold it over and cut that down to 11 inches. Then we're going to create sort of like a rounded triangle. We're going to go from that top corner down to the bottom. And then we're going to hot glue the two end pieces together to form our triangle. So if you have a different type of design, you want to make sure this is kind of like inside out. Then I'm going to fold that bottom piece up and hot glue that around to create a seam so that when we turn it inside out, everything will look like it is sewn in the seams on the inside. So we're going to let that cool, and we're going to take 2 of Dollar Tree's chenille stems and twist these together. So if you have a more sturdy chenille stem, you could just use 1, but because they're kind of flimsy, I used 2. Then using one of Dollar Tree's mufflers, I'm going to cut this at the seam, and then I'm going to cut 2 pieces down to about 4 inches. And then it has a backing on it, so I'm going to cut the backing off, but leave the seams on there because that's kind of what's holding all that furry stuff on there. Then I'm going to turn the seam at the bottom, so you want to make sure you keep that seam down at the bottom. We're going to cut 2 triangles. So I just eyeballed mine and kind of cut a triangle, and then I overlapped that on the other one to cut the other one the same size. Then we're going to flip them where they're inside out, so the backing's right there facing you, and we're going to hot glue our chenille stem down to the center. Then we're going to hot glue the 2 pieces together, and then I'll go in and add some more hot glue at the top. Then we can turn our fabric right side out, so now all the little seams are on the inside, and I just use the end of a paintbrush to kind of push that tip all the way out. And then I held that in place to see how much of the chenille stem I need to cut off, because you just want it to go to the tip of the stocking cap. Then we could place that on the inside and kind of tuck the fabric all around the beard. And then we're going to use a wooden bead for the nose. And I'm going to be gluing this, but I want to make sure that I put some glue on each side of the bead so that I can tuck the stocking cap around the sides of that and kind of create a little crease on each side. Then we're going to flip that over and glue the back side to the fabric to make sure everything stays in place. And then mine was a little offset, so I'm going to trim that, and that's on the outside of the glues because you want to still make sure that the glue is holding those 2 pieces together. And then I'm going to pinch it in the middle and then bend that chenille stem over, take a piece of twine to wrap around the center where I bent it, and I'm just going to double knot that and then tie the 2 end pieces off to create the hanger for our gnome ornament. And then I'm going to hot glue one of Dollar Tree's vase fillers right to the end of the stocking cap. You can make so many cute gnome ornaments with different colored fabric. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, for our final project, we are using another Walmart wood gnome. We're going to paint the beard white. Again, I'm going to paint the nose in a muted khaki, and his stocking cap and shoes are now the crimson red color. I'm going to add a couple of highlights to the shoes and then add some stitching around his stocking cap. Then I'm going to use one of Dollar Tree's round wood signs and remove the hanger. I'm going to stain mine with the antique wax by applying it with a wet paintbrush and then taking a dry paper towel to blend it in and lighten it up. Now it has this line going across it, so I decided to do both sides to see which side would be less noticeable. Now, once that dries, we can reattach or attach a new hanger at the top, and I just knotted it on the back side. And on the front side, I'm going to add a decal that I made with my Cricut. Now, I know not everybody has a Cricut, so I have this as a free printable on my website. All you have to do is go to the link to my website in my description box. And once you get on my website, you click on free printables. And then once you find your design, you can download it, print it out on copy paper, and then trace it onto your project. So we're going to add the gnome off to the side. And at the very top, we're going to take some of these picks from Walmart, and I'm going to bend them around so that they're the shape of the top part of our sign. And to hold the two pieces together, I overlapped the end pieces, and then I'm going to wrap those with some twine and hot glue the ends. And then we can add this to the top part of our sign, but before I'm going to trim it up a little bit because some of that greenery is a little too long, and I want to be able to read Merry Christmas from our gnome to yours. I'm going to hot glue that in place, and then I'm using some of this buffalo check ribbon. I have this in my Amazon store. I've been using this roll for a while now. So that link to my Amazon store is in my description box if you're interested. You're also going to need a zip tie. So I cut 8 of these down to 6.5 inches. I'm going to fold that over to create a loop, pinch it together at the bottom, and then continue to do that for all 8 pieces. Now, if you have a hard time holding it together, you could hold them together at the bottom with a clip until you have all your loops created. Then you're going to put your zip tie down at the bottom, trim any excess off, and then fluff out each one of your loops to create the cutest round bow. Now we're going to attach this right underneath where we added our greenery with those little extra pieces that are hanging out of the bottom of the loops. I'm going to put a nice dollop of hot glue and attach our bow. I love how this sign turned out. I think it is so pretty. I hope you enjoyed these fun gnome projects as much as I enjoyed making them. And if you have a favorite, let me know in the comment section down below. I always love to know which one is your favorite. Now I'm going to go head over and see what beautiful Christmas projects Mia has made. I hope you'll come over and check her video out too. I have a link to that in my description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care, and I will see you next time.